My name is Lynne Rine. I am a Weiss by maiden name, and both my family are owners of the Weiss Ace Hardware in Glenview.
Welcome. This is I believe, third installment of Story Behind the Business. And today I have Lynne Rine with me. Lynne, how are you?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I'm off today, so I'm a little more relaxed. So things are good.
Well, I'm glad that you're relaxed. I know these are precarious times for people, but it's good that you can find a little bit of peace. I know we want to get into the story behind your business, which is the Ace Hardware, the Weiss Ace Hardware over there. How did you and why did you get into entrepreneurship, and how did it end up being hardware?
Well, my grandfather started this business back in 1931 in Evanston, along with an uncle way back when. And then when my grandfather passed, who I never knew, my dad took over the business. So we moved the business from Evanston to Glenview in 1960. And I started working when I was 14 years old, and you can do that when you're family related. And so I worked through high school or junior high, college, sports, you name it. I just worked all the way through. Once I graduated from college, I actually did go into teaching for a while. But then I ended up getting married and having kids and couldn't do it all. So my natural instinct was to head back to the hardware store, head back to the family business. So I've been basically working since I was 14, which about 1974. And still there, still managing, still working full time.
Wow, that's quite a unique story. I mean, this was kind of your first taste of work, of having a job, but it also was your first chance to work with your family and your family business. You had a small little detour as a teacher. Was there ever anything else that you wanted to do?
Well, I wanted to stick with teaching really. But once once I got married and kids and everything, it was, one thing or the other. So pretty much stuck to working in the store, of which, things have changed over the last 50, 60 years here. So it's been a long drain, but it's great. I mean, the people in Glenview are wonderful, and what better place to have a business than this town of Glenview?
We'll definitely get into that, but I have to ask, I mean, to be working with your family for such a long time has to be tough. I believe, heavily in mentors and people that can help you along the way. Who helped you keep your sanity while working so closely with your family all these years?
Yeah, it has its days. So I have one brother and two sisters, and we've all worked in the business throughout our careers. And right now it's just my brother and I who work in the business, along with my dad. My dad is still working. He's 85, and he still comes in every day, even
Wow.
now. So we do for the business what's needed to be done, and I think it's the people. For me, it's the people that keep me going. I love to work with people. I love to be on the floor. I love to help people, help them fix their little plumbing problems, help them fix whatever needs to be fixed. That's what we're all about. And the customers, they're just wonderful here. So that's what keeps me going with hardware.
Well, I mean, it's a family business, and it's obvious that you guys view your customers and the people that come in from the community as family as well. But I have to ask, if you could give any advice to a budding entrepreneur after years in your own business, what would you say? What would you tell somebody that's just getting started?
Well, life these days is much difficult, more difficult, I should say, not much, but more difficult than it was when I was younger. These kids that come out of college, even though they're to college for one thing, by the time they come out of college, their minds changed. They don't want to necessarily do that, or they've changed what their majors are. And so things change for them quite quickly. So even going to college, I don't know that you're going to find your niche in life. And to find what you truly want to do for the rest of your life, you might not find it for a few years after college, because you might start that job that you went to college for, but somewhere along the line, it might not work. And I know there's a lot of people that tend to change jobs these days every 5, 6 years. I haven't done that. I mean, I pretty much, once I left teaching back in 84, 85, I've been at the hardware store. So you got to find your passion. You got to feel that you're needed somewhere. So that's wherever your passion drives you. And it's not that easy. You know, kids think, oh, I'm just going to do this for my life. Well, things change. They're always changing.
Yeah. I think that insight is really valuable. Not only things change, but people change, right? And so I
Exactly.
think that sometimes we think that, you know, you have to find our passion, and that passion is for life. But that's not always true. I think that sometimes I think it's just learning how to recognize passion as the actual skill, and then recognize when those passions shift and when certain things might come in and out, which is really part of life. We've learned a lot about what's also part of life, which is that things do change, and they can change dramatically with what's happening right now. You know, the current situation we have with COVID is obviously a very extreme kind of just novel thing, but the world was already kind of changing even before that. How do you think that brick and mortars like yours are going to have to adapt in order to survive and stay successful moving forward into the future?
Yeah, this whole COVID situation has really changed our business. You know, I mean, we've still been open this whole time. We did cut our hour by 1, so we close at 7 instead of 8. We're a little short-staffed due to we either have some elderly people that can't work. Nobody's sick, which is good, but either they can't work because of certain situations, or we have some younger kids, high school kids, that can't work because their parents don't want them working. So we've been open. We still operate in the store, as well as our online business was nothing close to what it is now. I mean, we had 2 or 3 orders a week. Right now we are getting 20 plus orders a day on online orders, as well as curbside orders where people are calling us and just doing orders over the phone. Because obviously we carry stuff that you can't order online. So there's certain things that people want, you know, village stickers, for instance, you can't order those online. So they call us for that. So if you look at our typical day now, what's now versus what was, it's 110, 200% different dealing with these orders online, curbside, helping people, you know, managing the distance, managing people just in general in the store. And this could be the way of the future here. I mean, obviously it's going to be this way for a while. I perceive this will probably stay around. Who knows what fall's bringing? You know, for me, it's one day at a time. That's been my motto for years. And it's even more so now that we have to look at it one day at a time, because you don't know what the next day is going to bring.
Well, it's obvious that your family knows how to adapt, because you guys have been in business and you've been entrepreneurs for such a long time. But as you said before, the business did start in Evanston and now it's in Glenview. Why Glenview? You guys could have moved or kept your business anywhere. Why did you choose this community?
Well, you know, I grew up in Northbrook, and then when I was very young, I was born and raised in Northbrook, and then moved to Glenview when I was like 4 or 5. So I've always lived in Glenview. It's just the business started in Evanston, and then when it was time to move the business from a very small 2,000 square foot store to a big 15,000 square foot store, we needed space. And since we lived in Glenview, we knew what Glenview was about. We knew the area. You know, back in 1960, things were a lot different than they are today. And there was a lot more open land, bigger spaces to deal with. We used to be across the street where Staples is currently. We moved to our current location in 1983 when we bought the restaurant, Grassfields, and we've been there ever since. And having our own space, our own lot, our own building has really been good for us. And it's a great community, so.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's an amazing story. You guys are truly staples of the community. Everybody knows who you guys are, and you've been serving this community for a really long time, and hopefully for many more years to come. Lynne Rine, thank you so much for being a guest on the story behind the business.
Oh, thank you, Chris, for inviting us. We certainly appreciate it, and look forward to seeing as many customers and Glenview residents as we always do in our store.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.